Hello, this is the Cobra gct200p garden cart, which is great for moving all sorts of plants, compost and materials around your garden. And this is how it is when you buy it in this sturdy cardboard box. So what we're going to do is unpack it, take it out. I'm going to show you how easy it is to put together. So to assemble is really easy, and of course all the instructions are here, so do read that and follow that step by step. You do need a few tools as well. Just simply you need a couple of spanners or sockets, so we've got a 13mm, a 19mm and a couple of screwdrivers. It can be flathead or crosshead, doesn't matter which you use. So to assemble it is really easy, and some of it is already assembled. The chassis and this turning swivel mechanism is already pre-assembled there for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So essentially we're going to fit the wheels, we're going to fit the top, the cart on top of the chassis and the handles. So I'm going to turn this round. At the back of it we've got 4 holes there on the blunt end of it, as you can see just here. So what we're going to do is turn that round and then use this piece. This is the tipping lock mechanism that will all become apparent, and you want the handle bit uppermost to the top. So that's going to be attached to this, and to do that we need 4 of these nuts and bolts there. So I'm just going to take those apart and pop them into there, and then we can assemble it. So it's simply a case of lining it up with the holes just there. So we're going to put a bolt through from the back, then we can hook that onto there like that, and then we need a washer and then one of the nuts. And these are what we call locking nuts, so once they're tight they won't vibrate off. So you can start them off with your fingers, and then it's a case of you'll need your socket to get them on. So just twist that to get that started, like that. And when you can't do it anymore, then we need our 13mm socket and a screwdriver. So we can put the socket on here, and the screwdriver is just to hold it at the back there, and then it's just a case of holding that steady and tightening that on. I'm not going to completely tighten it at this stage, because what I want to do is to get all 4 in, and then we can finish that off. So I'll put the next one in, the top. So it's a bolt through, washer, followed by the nut. So just finish off by tweaking those so that they're all 4 nuts are tight like that. So that isn't going to go anywhere now. So next stage is to flip this over just to show you where the next parts go. So this is obviously the bottom of the carrier. So we've got these 2 pieces of framework, and one is going to go into that position like that, and the other one is going to go like that. And we fit them exactly the same with another 4 nuts and bolts, which are the same, with the bolt coming from the inside out. So obviously we can't do it like that, but that's what it needs to look like when we've finished. So to do that, the easiest way is to just hold it on its side like this. Now you may need a little bit of help with this, because you've got to sort of hold this in position as well as tightening it. So I'm going to push my bolt through there. So if I can just get Gareth to hold the other end like that. Could you pass me the socket as well, Gareth, please? And the screwdriver. Very kind of you, thank you. So I've got the bolt poking through there. So again, we can pop on, holding that just from the inside, pop on the washer, pop on the nut, tighten it finger tight, and then I'm just going to put the screwdriver into the slot underneath, and then we can just tighten that a little bit, and then we can do the one on the back, washer, and then our nut. So we tighten those up, and then we repeat that on the other side, so we've got both of these brackets in place. Right, now these are in position, we can put on the main frame or the chassis here. This is the bit that actually turns the front wheels. So we slide it round like that. So this is the tow hitch here, and it actually fits into these 2 grooves in the mouldings on the bottom, and then this tube will line up with these holes here in these. Now it is a bit fiddly. You might need a little bit of help with this just to line them up. So we're just going to line them like that, and then what we can put through is this axle. And this is threaded on both ends to attach the wheels, and you'll note that it's round, but it's been flattened on one side here, and that's really important. That's to stop this twisting once it's in position. And if you look through there, there is a flat side. This is the flat underside, so it has to go in so the flat and flat are together. It won't go in any other way. So it's just a case of feed it in at this end like that, give it a bit of a wiggle. You might just need to prise that open just a little bit, and that's just feeding in like that. And so you can just give it a little bit of a wiggle there. So there we are. What we're aiming to do is to get that so we've got an equal distance, and you'll find you can adjust it by just either tapping it with a mallet, or if you splay the legs slightly like that, it makes it much easier to slide backwards and forwards. So we just gauge it so that that is about half and half like that. So the wheels are going to then be attached on there, and the other wheels are going to be attached on these threaded ends here. So that gives us the 4 wheels so we can trundle it around the garden. 4 pneumatic tyres make it much easier to manoeuvre around the garden, and you fit them so that the valve there is on the outside. So that will just slide on to that little axle like that, and then we've got a larger washer and a 19mm nut which goes on there, and that will just tighten on. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten that a little bit, then I'm going to put the other one, and then I can retighten them to make sure they're right. So the other wheel goes on here, and then one on there, and one on there, and then we've got the trolley. So there we go, all 4 wheels now in place like that, so they're not going to go anywhere, and bearing their nice movement on them. And finally, what we've got is the handle to pull it around the garden. So this is the handle here, as you can see. Little piece here, I'll just take that off. You might wonder what this is for with a split pin there. This is, you can take this off, and if you've got a little lawn tractor, you can then put that onto the back of the lawn tractor to tow it around. But with this handle on, it's designed for towing around the garden. So it's just a case of putting that pin through there, and then this R clip there to hold that in place. And a little tip is, when this is in position, do it so that the bolt is going downwards. Should that ever pull out, it means that it's still got something there that will keep it attached. So because it's upside down, it's going to go this way. So we've got this little plastic piece here which just slides on, and we've got to eye those holes through, get them in line like that. So we're just a bit of wiggling to get that all lined in. And that hopefully has come out that side. And then we can put on our washer and our final nut. And just give that a time. That's the 13mm one, and we need a spanner on the back as well, just to hold it, and just tighten it so it just tweaks together like that. And that is it. So there we are. Very easy to put together, didn't take very long at all. Strong, sturdy, great manoeuvrability there. You can carry all sorts in that, lots of plants in there, bags of compost, soil, and all sorts of things around the garden. And this is also a tipper. So if you want to tip it, it's very simple. Simply, we've just got the spring lead there, tip it out, away we go, and then that clips back into position. Easy as that.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk. Always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.